As governors, we take COVID very seriously.
Go, 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 go!
Which is why we have a large number of new restrictions for you.
For starters, you should stay in your house, except for extreme emergencies.
Stay at home and save lives.
Yo, don't kill that without me.
We urge you to report anyone not following orders, and that includes friends, family, and loved ones.
It's our expertise that you're probably going to have to get poorer to stop the spread.
Yeah, my buddy's gonna reopen the bar, don't worry. Just give me a head count.
I got these people locked down. They want to be locked down. If you have any doubts that this is important, here's some graphs.
That's the thing. We can make the statistics say whatever we want. That's the beauty of numbers. What if we make them wear 2 masks?
Wow. That is pretty accurate. And I bet they all drink White Claw. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Lukadowski of WeAreChange.org. That introduction video was provided by Ryan Long. It's only a short excerpt of his full video, which you could watch by going to his channel. He does good work. But in this video, before jumping into our main topic about the thousands of Communist Chinese Party members infiltrating Western positions of power, we want to talk about the breaking news happening right now of allegedly U.S. President Donald Trump pardoning Julian Assange. This news was broken by Pastor Mark Burns, who has been seen with the U.S. president on many occasions, just like Twitter banner shows. A lot of people are retweeting this claim, as just in moments, this Twitter has already galvanized over 90,000 likes. But it's not true, since of course we don't have any confirmations, any real official sources, no news from WikiLeaks, and Pastor Mark Burns just tweeted regarding the hashtag Julian Assange tweet dash, quote, inadvertent tweet, faulty source, please disregard. So yeah. That sucks. Also, do you remember the time the mainstream media and many establishment figures were telling you that it was a conspiracy theory that Julian Assange was going to be arrested, that he should just walk out of the Ecuadorian embassy which he was hiding out in? Remember that? Do you also remember what the mainstream media was telling you? That any stories regarding Hunter Biden and his finances, along with his close ties with foreign adversaries, was, quote, not credible and Russian disinformation. Yeah, they can't be trusted with absolutely anything. In regards to that specific news story, we are also getting the update that Hunter Biden's criminal investigation of his financial ties with foreign adversaries is now subpoenaing and now looking into Burisma Energy. You know, the company that paid tens of thousands to Hunter Biden, that originally a Ukrainian prosecutor was looking into specifically for the cases of corruption, which Joe Biden openly boasted about firing, and then Hunter Biden established private meetings with then Vice President Joe Biden with the company. Yeah, it gets a little confusing there, but essentially that's the story. Also, very interestingly, the U.S. Attorney General William Barr, we're finding out today, directly, quote, intervened to keep the Hunter Biden investigation secret before the U.S. elections, even allegedly specifically warning people, a part of the investigations, to not issue any subpoenas so the information wouldn't come out, and was even going around asking prosecutors, quote, if the staff doing this could be trusted. So it looks like there was a very underhanded move by Bill Barr against the U.S. presidency of Donald Trump that coincides with the larger mainstream media establishment disinformation campaign that tried to squash this story before the election. Now the story is admitted, the subpoenas are being leaked, and you really have to wonder what underhanded things are really going on here, especially with this specific story highlighting how many people say the Attorney General underhanded the U.S. president. Talking about other underhanded, corrupt political institutions, today we also got the news that the chaos and confusion surrounding the Iowa Democratic caucuses earlier this year were mainly caused by the DNC's direct interference, which, if you remember, played well for the establishment intelligentsia candidate Pete Buttigieg and not very well for Bernie Sanders, who actually won the most votes. Of course, you didn't know that during the day of the primaries because of the DNC's direct finagling of that. Usually, when the Iowa caucus winner is announced, they have a strong lead and a lot of momentum, which helps them in the selection process. But this time, the DNC made sure that they fudged that. So now, let me get this straight. This is the same DNC that's being blamed for voter manipulation But according to the mainstream media and establishment, none of those claims are true, even though we haven't fully investigated them yet. Very interesting that now these are the same kind of institutions telling you that this is a time to heal, which is, let's just say, pretty unique on the backdrop of everything that they've been pushing and promoting this entire year, especially after the riots and lockdowns. Don't forget, guys, stay home because it's, quote, good for you. Please follow the CCP and World Health Organization guidelines as you're lectured by individuals who never had a hard-working day in their life that are becoming richer than people have ever been on the face of this earth, who will be lecturing you about your, quote, privilege. All of this as they enrich themselves more than ever before with the Federal Reserve printing machine going burr for the super rich, but magically breaks when, of course, anyone else needs some financial restitution from the crimes of government that have prevented their prosperity and their success. So yeah, that's going on right now, and just by mentioning it or talking about it, we risk expulsion from this very platform, as we recently saw other content creators like Scott Adams and Jeff Berwick, the dollar vigilante, permanently kicked off the platform. All, of course, is content that leads people to critically think and evaluate non-establishment talking points as deemed inappropriate. Meanwhile, extreme profanity and lewdness in slow motion is totally allowed and even promoted in many instances. This rampant hypocrisy has also affected us and has fully demonetized this channel, which is, whatever, but it gave me an opportunity now to look at specific products that I like, that I can now sell, that I think you would like and might even potentially help you, just like M Foods, which I set up an affiliate account with. And if you're looking for some raw cacao, coffee, healthy greens, lion's mane, reishi, chaga, and a whole bunch of other wild herbs, check out M Foods. The link will be down below, and of course will help us keep this operation up and running while providing you a service and a product that I think you will like. Now, just jumping into our main story, very interestingly, this major leak of the Chinese Communist Party is, I would say, definitely getting significantly underplayed in the mainstream media, because we have recently revealed that thousands of Chinese Communist Party members have openly infiltrated Western institutions of influence. This is an extremely important news story, but yet the American corporate media is not really talking about it. Meanwhile, in Australia and the United Kingdom, the opposite is true. All, of course, as there's now a leaked database of 1.9 million Communist Party members that were leaked that exposes some of the biggest mass infiltration of the world's biggest companies, consulates, and even government agencies. This, of course, also includes major defense firms, banks, and pharma giants that, according to many people, Beijing is responsible for influencing. And this news is absolutely crazy and absurd. There's Chinese communist members that literally secured jobs inside of the British consulate. The fact that this was allowed to happen is absolutely, utterly insane. And it really makes you wonder, what's going on here? Who's really in charge, as the Chinese are literally brazenly just showing off at what kind of incredible spy operations they could run without any consequences at all. What are some of the bigger implications here? Well, we still don't know. The story just broke in Australia a few moments ago. But as we learned from previous spying operations and the long history of the Chinese state stealing intellectual property from Western nations, I think it's fair to say that the implications are absolutely significant here, as we're also finding out that Chinese communist members were also inside of big pharma giants like Pfizer and AstraZeneca, which, are developing the Conholio sickness jab. And now we're finding out that these two companies employed 123 communist Chinese government loyalists. You consider this with the larger factor of how the Chinese government hid this sickness from the world, covering it up while they actively spread it to the world, banning domestic flights but allowing international flights out of the country. But of course, not into the country. Now, when you look up the theft and the subversion of Western economies by the Chinese bootlegging establishments, as well as just some of the outright theft that has been going on, it shouldn't surprise people to find out that these Chinese communist members were also at the helm of many top corporations like Rolls-Royce, Jaguar, and Land Rover, as it's pretty clear that the Chinese state has been subverting other free economies for their own personal benefit. Now, when you look at the theft of intellectual property, we also have to understand that this coincides with other economic subversion, like the fact that many Chinese citizens and officials were able to get 0% interest loans from their own government to literally buy up as much property and businesses all around the Western world. Of course, previous presidents like Barack Obama welcomed such investments with open hands, but in places like Australia, that is showing to have some very significant ramifications, as a Chinese national billionaire has literally bought up dozens of Australian hospitals, which he is now shutting down because he wants more money from the Australian government. Yes, that's actually happening right now as we're talking about, and it's not only businesses, property, real estate, it's also the minds of America's children that they are shaping, as of course they also have very long extensive ties with universities, which they are financing to the tune of millions of dollars. But one of the institutions that the Chinese government has extended their influence over that had the most significant ramifications, in my opinion, is of course the World Health Organization, that won't even recognize Taiwan. This is the same World Health Organization that has flip-flopped on many important policies, on many important directives that, of course, politicians all around the world were following blindly and were reversed more than they were found to be accurate. As even recently, the World Health Organization is accused of removing a damning report surrounding the conholio sickness, which was intended to help prevent future deaths, which was pulled from their website at the request of the previous Italian health minister, who now works at the World Health Organization, since the report highlights his incompetencies and wrongdoing not preparing for this sickness. So yeah, out of sight, out of mind, who cares? You know, it's just a report trying to prevent death. God forbid it provides any accountability on some of these politicians that are in charge of these larger institutions. And again, I'm sorry, but when you're taking health advice from the Chinese that literally lock people in their own homes until they die, or order their flight attendants to wear diapers to, quote, lower the chance of the conholio sickness, you know, because nothing says fighting a sickness like being in unsanitary conditions and pooping yourself. Yeah, I'm sorry, the Chinese shouldn't be the ones who are influencing the World Health Organization here. Their effects on this have been extremely detrimental to the West, which essentially is inducing mass poverty with lockdowns, which we're seeing in New York City, might even go into a full shutdown. And that's absolutely, utterly insane. But it's literally out of the Chinese Communist state playbook with how they conducted themselves. So, doesn't really surprise me, as of course actual data is being censored that could actually provide good context, good information to lead us forward in the right, accurate, productive, honest, truthful way. But no, we can't have any of that. Why? Well, I don't know. It's very hard to point to any kind of sane thinking or rational or justification behind all of this. It's easy to say greed. It's easy to say megalomania. But I think we could all agree it's not good for anyone. It's only good for the super rich establishment elite and their representatives, which we call politicians. That's my personal take on it. If you think I am wrong in any way or shape or form, please let me know why in the comment section below. I always appreciate constructive criticism. I'm not a perfect individual. I don't always get things right. I am wrong sometimes, but the only way to move forward progressively towards a better way is to admit that and to be open to criticism, which I am always for. And I think if we actually have honest, real conversations like this and not just call ourselves the, quote, most trusted name in news, things would be a lot better in life. That's my belief, and if you believe that as well, Share this video with your friends and family members. It is more critically important than ever that you support independent media that is still out there, that is still alive. There are not many of us out there, but with your support, we are still here. And this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.